Welcome to the Thursday Night Co-Creators Creator Convo. I'm Noelle Marshall, and I'm here with my beloved.
Good evening, morning, and afternoon, everyone in Timeless Time. Wonderful to have you all with us. Let's talk about this year's Co-Creators Convergence. We hope all of you will be there. And I mean everybody that's listening to the recording later, too. What's up, Noelle?
Wonderful. Well, before we begin, we have a lot of multimedia here, so I'm going to be doing a lot of juggling. You're meeting 3 of your 4 co-creators, myself, Bob, Victoria Friedman, CCC number 1. If she and Ron, you're going to meet Ron in a little bit. Those 2 hadn't helped co-create the very first one, there wouldn't be a co-creators convergence. And Marcia McCartney, who isn't here, but she has a little video that we've put together. She's at the Unity retreat, and they're having their gala this final night, but she's very sorry she isn't here. So she was also CCC number 1. So you're meeting 4 of the 6 instigators of this whole, what is this, 11-year, 13-year gathering together. And I see everybody who's on the line here right now has been to at least one CCC. But don't be afraid. Come join us, you that are on the Facebook lands, and those of you who are going to see this later. So before we start, I'm going to show a little video about the Co-Creators Convergence and what we have coming up.
Welcome to the mountain. We are honored to have the opportunity to host a variety of groups and events sharing this special place on the top of a mountain in western North Carolina. In addition to providing accommodations and meeting spaces, our dining hall offers meals based on ethical sourcing, local foods, and honoring dietary needs. Our Many Hands Peace Farm has evolved since 2010, now including poultry, hoop house, food forest, shiitake patch, garden, apiary, and a mountain meadow encouraging pollinators. Our farm manager and the farm crew offer many learning opportunities, farm tours, workshops about mushrooms and foraging, tours which include farm dinners, farm camp for youth, and farm apprenticeships. At the mountain, at 4,200 feet, we are in a temperate rainforest. We have 4 ecosystems on our property and are included in the National Old Growth Forest Network for the care we provide for our old growth oak forest. In this ecologically based organization, we can provide many learning opportunities for school groups, organizations, and retreat groups. We invite you to come experience the possibilities at the mountain.
Welcome to the mountain. Have you ever stayed in a 100-acre old-growth forest on top of a mountain? Well, this is your opportunity. This is a typical room where we will stay. 2 twin beds, and guess what? You're going to have your own private bath. So, in the lodge, there are 12 rooms like this. And if we have more than 24 people, there are many other cabins and facilities just as nice. This is the pathway out to the meditation rock on top of Little Scaly Mountain. And in the next picture, you'll see Bob and one of the staff members. This is a view that we'll enjoy a lot of the time, weather permitting, whatever Mother Nature brings us. Indoors, there are many places for us to meet. This is what they call the tree house because you look out below and all the old white oak trees, some 600 years old. And this is the second grand piano. On the lower level of the tree house is what they call the rec room. So you can hang out here, and it's another huge room, and there's ping pong tables, foosballs, and lots of other things for us to mess around and play with, should we choose. This is a picture of the dining hall. It's not being used at present because we were there off season, but it has cafeteria food. It's excellent. No manufactured food here. It's all locally sourced. We're going to have vegan and vegetarian options, as well as gluten-free options. So we can also have an opportunity to look at the stars, and you see the antennas up there. They're placed there because they do a lot of tracking of wildlife and particularly birds. But we do have access to that, so perhaps we'll get some stargazing done as well. This is the lodge kind of main gathering room. Again, you see the second grand piano. There's also drums there, and we may have a labyrinth indoor mat. This is another very big room. So we have a lot of options of where to gather. This is just another view. And yes, that fireplace works. So if we can't have our fire outside due to weather, there's lots of places to have indoor fires. There you go. Picture of just 1 or 2 of the rocking chairs. This big, huge deck just overlooks the Blue Ridge. And there's 2 levels of rocking chairs. So I don't think we have to be concerned with who's getting in the rocking chair, but a great place to spend some time. And you can poke into the old growth forest and you'll find deep down there a labyrinth. And we're welcome to use that as well. So some other possibilities in the area, if it would fit into our schedule, is to visit the falls. This one is called Dry Falls. And you can see here, there's a walkway down here, Little People's, and you can walk back behind it. And it's a beautiful place, great energy. And here's what you might hear and see. This is just a little picture I took from behind the falls, the waterfalls in slow-mo. Another falls nearby is called Muddy Creek Falls. And if time permits, there are a couple kind of grungy picnic tables here, but we could have a snack there. And also, another thing that's nice to do in this area is to go on the tree trail. So you can learn about the trees in this area. And it comes to a nice little bridge over a creek. And it's a very level walk and just a great way to connect with nature. So, on behalf of myself, Bob, Marcia, and Victoria, your 2024 Weavers, we hope you join us October 6th through 11th at the mountain. And if you get your deposit of $222 in before August 1st, we will hold the $900 all-inclusive fee, except for transportation, of course. After August 1st, registration goes up another $300. So thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the mountain.
Fade in. So that's a little bit about the Co-Creators Convergence and what we have coming up. So I just ask you all, I know have a lot of questions and things, but we're going to go through a few things first. And what I'd like to do, but very next, is introduce my very, very good friend, Victoria Friedman. And we found each other through Barbara Marx Hubbard. And she tells a lovely story how Barbara Marx Hubbard picked she and Ron up at a swimming pool at a retreat a long time ago. And they fell in love and been friends ever since. And then in birth 2012, Barbara Marx Hubbard introduced us to Ron and Victoria. And Victoria, why don't you say hello, get your voice in this energy here. Love to hear you chime in here.
Sure. Yeah. Yes. Well, also, you didn't tell them about our double dating. So Bob and Noelle, Victoria and Ron. We, Colorado, right?
Yep.
And yep, a lot of places. And yeah, we did Barbara's hub calls together, which is a whole big thing. Working with Barbara is always was so exciting. You never knew it was going to happen. Whatever you planned, it was not going to be that.
Exactly.
We organize everything, get on the call, she would just do what she does. And it was great. It's great.
Mhm.
Yeah. And Bob and Noelle, they're just incredible people, I mean, you just don't meet anybody like them. They're one of a kind, seriously. They're our most famous activists that we know.
I think you put us up one time when we came to New York to be in I think it was the largest climate demonstration, I think ever. New York City, and flooded Wall Street the next day. But I want to show, it's so impossible to express adequately the creativity that Ron and Victoria bring. So I want to just show off their website a little bit, if you all would let me. So hold on. Do you see this?
Yep.
You see Brightness Books for Children?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this is their website, vistarview.org. And all these doodles and all this color came out of the no mind, as Victoria would say. She is responsible for all of this. And she has written so many books. And One Brightness is her latest on the unitive theory. Fog Busters is also a very recent book. And some of you who are at CCC #1 might remember meeting Clarissa the Fish. Here we go. So Vistar View, the discovery of our true nature, collective consciousness, spontaneous creativity. And you could spend like a couple years on their page. The two of them are like this dynamic duo. They just create together. And Ron, and he'll share with us later, he has a muse, a poet, and he's going to share some of his poetry with us later. And Victoria has another book called Spirit Doodling. No, mine is Spirit Doodling. And you can just go through here and see some of the things that she has done. So instead of just, saying she's this and she's that, she's also a magnificent pottery. She's had her works displayed in juried shows. It's very hard to get into. Beautiful. So that's just a little bit about the creativity that these two share. And I love how they do it together. And you have another book coming out, don't you, Victoria?
Oh yeah, Ron's third poetry book. And this one I'm doing with him, I'm doing the doodles around his poems.
Yeah, so it's
amazing that we've survived.
So that's a little bit about Ron and Victoria. And Victoria is a weaver this year. And I see some past weavers here. Hey, Dina, and others. And I'm also want to tell you about Marcia. So stand by. I made a little video. Marcia was kind of bummed that she couldn't work this into her schedule. But let me do see if I can do another share here. Okay. So this is a little bit about Marcia, Reverend Marcia, who is retired Unity minister. This is some of her artwork. And she did this one special for us called Joy. And she is a joy maker for sure. And she likes to monkey around. And Marcia is very popular. And she has a lot of funny friends. She's hosted the Buddhist monks several times.
Mountaintop full of joy. And we each get to bring our own unique joyness to a celebration of pure joy. And we're going to celebrate together. Celebrate together. These are one of my art pieces that expresses joy. This happens to be my Live Out Loud doula. And also this is my Love Out Loud doula right behind me here. So we're really looking forward to seeing you. We're going to create together a mountaintop experience where we will explore deeply joy in all its wonder. I look forward to it. I love you guys. Sign up now and we'll be there to welcome you in joy.
And Marcia also likes to play, and play is a very important aspect of joy.
That's not an indication of the average age of folks that are coming, is it?
No. So that was on Marcia's Facebook. So she loves to play. In fact, she has I don't know if some of you remember, she has a planetary play project and a whole booklet that she made. And one year she was selected by Unity Church to be their national, I don't know, she got some national funding to go to churches all across the United States doing the planetary play. So I just wanted to introduce you to some of our playmates.
Oh, this is good. So our theme is joy. Joy is the theme, joy on the mountaintop. And so, joy is a very serious topic. You know that. It's not a simple thing, because, I have a lot of people who say to me, where is the bliss? You know, where is the joy? Pleasure and pain, where is the pleasure? No, it's not pain and pleasure, it's pleasure and pain. So that's a very big consideration in my mind. And so I think I'd love to hear what everybody else has to say about joy, because everybody has their own sense of this. Is a very personal, deeply subjective situation. But when I started considering that thing about joy and what it is, I got like an epiphany. And the epiphany was that I was looking for joy in all the wrong places. I'm looking for something called joy that I was programmed with. Like, how do we know what joy is? We grew up and then, mom and dad said, here's an ice cream cone. Maybe that was joy. I don't know. But what is joy? And I'm not sure that the answer to that, but I can tell you, since I have like really considered that what I'm considering as joy is really just some fun. It's just fun to be like, I mean, if you go out with people and you're having fun, or you do a game, or you see a movie, or, you're sitting in a beautiful place watching a sunset, it is fun. But joy, the joy that seems to be longed for is much deeper than that. And it can't be defined by the third dimension. It can't be defined by materiality. So if we're looking to materiality, to our living in life, just living, pleasure and pain, joy, joy, balloons, if we're looking to that, I felt I was looking in the wrong place. And even just thinking that, I mean, it's just a thought, it's just a consideration. And I considered that, and I began to have a sense that joy was something much bigger, much deeper, much wider, much higher, much huge, the joy that we're really longing for. And that joy has to be within us. It has to be what we are, because I don't think it can be found on, on earth the way we go about looking for joy. Maybe people, take drugs and mushrooms and they drink, and then they, or you have a very creative time, and that's joyous. But joy for me, it has to be something constant. There has to be a joy place that is always there. And so that's where I'm coming from. And, I'd love to explore that with everybody.
Okay, if you want to put what joy is to you, you can put something in the chat. And I'm going to add myself back in here. Joy has been coming to me in so many different directions, like my readings I shared, I think in the letter to you, with Matthew Fox. And he has a whole book on joy, and the Tao of Joy. And then at church we went to, and the subject was joy. And so what the minister had was, each one of us was given an index card to write what joy meant to them. And we filled it out. We handed it in during the service. And then one of the celebrants went and made a poem out of it and brought it back and read to the congregation. And I'm telling you, that poem was just outstanding. And joy to some is just, the company of their pet. Joy is homemade cookies. Joy is, seeing their aunt that always comes for Christmas time. There's so many different levels of joy. There's joy in, well, you can put some things. Bob put peace is joy of the heart. And you're welcome to put anything into the chat. But that's what we're going to be doing, is really a deeper exploration of that. And I hope a whole lot of experience in that, because coming to CCC is always joyful for me. Seeing the faces and the people that, I've been with over the years, and what we co-create together. And that's what's always great about what we do. I told Marcia and Victoria, it's not about us making an agenda. It's like, whoever's coming, what are they going to bring? How do they want to express that? As we always are in circle, And we always, this is our 11th one. It's like we've always co-created such a beautiful container. And what comes out of it, it's so joyous. I have no words for it. It's just, we have something from Janet. Go ahead, Victoria. Can read Janet's, can you see it?
Okay. Dr. Janet Smith Warfield, to everyone. Joy to me is this kairos.
Yes.
Am I saying that right? Kairos. And when you need to know that moment, you all are co-creating this October. So many beautiful friends coming together in a beautiful location. And I was real Unitarian. It feels like coming home.
That's great. Unitarians are known for being welcoming congregations, and all walks, all paths to God are welcomed. But great, I didn't know that about you, Dr. Janet.
Joy to me is, as it relates to this community, is exhibited in the fact that after the convergence is concluded, people don't want to go home. And we've seen it exhibited since the very first one, Victoria and Ron, where the folks at Sunrise Ranch came to us after a couple of days and said, would you please tell some of your people to go home? Kenny was still living out in the tree in his sling hammock and coming to meals, which he hadn't paid for. And people began over the years at Sunrise Ranch to stay an extra day or 2 extra days because we'd have a leftover party down in Boulder or someplace. Last year in Costa Rica, unique in that it was international travel, but still over half the people, we stayed an extra 3 nights or more together in the same place at the Peace Center. And some people stayed up to a week after it was over, still finding each other, even though we weren't particularly with each other for the whole time. And that's joy to me, is to see how significant the energy that brought us together, and that we then whipped into shape together, co-created together. Folks don't want to leave that energy. I'm happy when we all get to go to wherever we're going next to carry all that collective energy with us, which we, without question, we all do. But yeah, that's a joy to me.
And Grace has chimed in here. I know she said she can't have her video on because I think she said exercising, which is a joy to me after I've done it, not when I have to go to do it. It's always afterwards. I go like, oh, I'm so glad I did that. Anyway, Grace has to say, joy to me is an internal smile on my personal heart from experiencing internal happiness. Very wonderful. If anybody else wants to unmute themselves and join the conversation, that'd be fantastic.
Welcome, Raina Shea.
Yes. But I think that's really, go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think just following up on some of Victoria's comments, I mean, it's really joy is so essential. I think the experience of togetherness, of the sharing, of being together, there is something for me which is beyond the visible. There is something that we're all experiencing, and sometimes we don't exactly name, but we may call it joy, we may call it happiness, we may call it whatever we call it. I think it's amplified by community, definitely amplified, but it's something that is so fundamental to being itself. And we share that, and that inside us that knows that recognizes itself in others.
Mm.
And we don't necessarily name it. So I think that's the joy. That's what many of my poems are about, and that's what I think is very close to what we might call love.
Well, not to uh, disregard anyone's joy meter, but I do want to, I know there's some people that have to jump off. And so I do want to go through the registration information and open it up for any questions. So if I can do a screen share again. Welcome to the Joy on the Mountaintop registration form. This is page 1 of the registration form, and it just tells you a little bit about our event. And note here, it does say where the mountain is and the physical address. And we ask for your email. Once you hit a submit button, you will get a confirmation. And if you don't have all the information ahead of time, it's okay. You can go back and add. So when you get that confirmation, it will give you a way to go back and change or update your registration. I'm happy to announce our Weavers for 2024. It's myself, Bob, Marcia McCartney, who's been to several CCC, beginning with number 1, and Victoria Frieden, also CCC number 1. So then, of course, we need to know who you are. So just go ahead and fill in that information, pretty straightforward. Then we want you to tell you about your dietary needs. So this is very important, especially if you have allergies, then select the other button and let us know about that. But all our meals will be vegan, vegetarian with gluten-free options. Now, this tells you about the registration cancellation and how you can pay. And all rooms have 2 single beds and a private full bath. The price before August 1st is $900. Transportation not included. So that's registration, meals, and this is for 5 nights. And it goes up $300 after July 1st. And if you make a deposit of $222 before August 1st, that will lock in the early bird price. If you want a single room, that is a $70 a day upgrade. And there's a group right before us. They're leaving at noon. We come in at 3. So our first meal together will be dinner on Sunday, October 6th. Checkout of our rooms is at 9 a.m. and of the grounds is noon. So they have another group coming in. And that may change. So we'll know more as we get there. And this tells us about the cancellation policy. 30 days prior, there's a full refund minus a $30 administration fee, and canceling with 29 to the first day, all funds refunded except for $60 admin fee and your 22 to registration fee. So that is all. Then just tell me, what is your selection? And I will let you know exactly how you can pay that. The payment options are actually, I don't need to tell you, it's right here under payment options. So it tells you if you're using Venmo, use this account, PayPal, that account, Zelle, a check. So to have some other way, just let me know. So let's talk about roommates, to have or not to have. Name of your roommate, assuming they've agreed, and then roommate considerations. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Just check everything that applies. Okay, so section 6 is transportation. Let us know how you're getting here. Some of you, I know a lot of you told me you're driving. And so just if you have that information, go ahead and let me know. We'll have somebody who will coordinate, probably Bob will coordinate transportation. Here's arrival. If you're coming by airplane, I would suggest Asheville with the 3-letter identifier is AVL. There's quite a few different airlines that serve Asheville. And then also communication.
we really would like you to join our WhatsApp group. So if you go on WhatsApp, just look for CCC 2024 Joy. And you can download that for free. And if you want a link, just copy this right here, put it into your browser, and our group should come up. Now, this is the real meat of Co-Creators Convergence. Everyone, whether this is your first time or your 10th time or your 11th time, is invited to facilitate an interactive experience lesson activity related to our topic of joy. And so that's an option. And then what we do as weavers, we figure out the flow. So we don't make an agenda and say, you're going to do this and that and this. The only thing will be scheduled are the meals. And that is because of the establishment's requirements. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If you do answer yes, we ask you some additional questions like, what time do you need? What kind of tech needs do you have? What time of day? And location. So I think that's all self-explanatory. Now, this is not optional emergency information. We're not going to have any emergencies, but in case there is an emergency, we need to know who to contact. So that should be pretty self-explanatory there. This one is kind of important. What are the health concerns we should know about? So bee sting, food allergies, eyesight, or hearing concerns, or you can just put not applicable, but you do have to put something. If you see the little asterisk, you do have to put something there. So if you don't know what it is at the time, you could put dashes and fill it in later or put not applicable. So this section 11, this is optional. So some people, especially last year when we were traveling internationally, they wanted to give us all their medical health insurance information. So congratulations, you are in section 12. See, that wasn't that bad. We will have some calls ahead of time. Our first one is scheduled for August 7th at 8 p.m. And we'll always use the same link. This is the same link we use for our Thursday night calls. And here's the little extra. I have reserved 10 rooms at the Country Inn in Asheville. And each room has 2 queen beds. So if you're coming in early, or if you just want to enjoy, hang out in Asheville, there's so much to do that. Really cool city. Friday nights, they have drum circles always in the main square. About 45 minutes away is the UR Light Center, which has a very unique structure and meditation room. And it also has a lodge, but not big enough to hold all of us. That's in Black Mountain. Or we could take a little adventure up to Linville Falls, which is huge, and it has a little winery nearby where they usually have a musician play. So I do have here about the UR Light Center if you want to look that up. So that concludes this. Hope to see you on the mountain. Thanks for coming.
So the lack of availability in Asheville and the prices, which are, it's always expensive, but more expensive, is because this time of year is the color week in the South Appalachian. I've lived here 4 years. I know how to say it now. Appalachian Mountains, and it's the reason that our convergence is actually all weekdays, because the mountain is booked years in advance for various women's groups and women's spirit groups and other weekends and whatnot. So for us to get the first week in October, that's why we have to go in on Sunday night and get out on Friday afternoon, because all those weekends have been booked for years in advance. And likewise in Asheville, for those that come early and want to hang out together in Asheville.
Yeah, and I know there are going to be a lot of people that are driving, but there is an airport right in Asheville. And I think that was in the letter that I sent you, so you could check that out. Surprisingly, where we are in Northeast Tennessee, about an hour and a half from Asheville, it's a lot cheaper to fly out of Asheville than it is our local airport, which is also international, Tri-Cities. I think, Sarah, you've flown into this airport before. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm going to open it up for some questions. I know some people do have to get off, but if you have some questions, you leaving? Bye, Dina. Hope you join us. Love you.
Dina, appreciate your comment. Thank you.
And yes, Dina said, I believe that joy is our true nature. There are people, events, and moments that help us uncover the joy that we are. It's that beautiful awareness. And
Mhm.
I think that it's right on the head. Very beautiful. So
And
I'm
Janet, thank
going to open it up if anybody wants to unmute, say anything about any topic or ask any question or details. I'm sure I haven't covered everything. Janet also said, words are placeholders for experience. Yes, they are. They are fingers pointing at the moon, very different from the experience of watching a huge, beautiful moon in Boulder, Colorado. And we've done that together, Janet. What airlines fly to Asheville? How many miles? Many miles to the mountain for the airport. Okay. Bob, you want to handle that one?
Asheville to the mountain. Oh, I don't know what airlines. Yeah, I'm not sure what airlines. You can just go to Asheville Regional Airport, and I'm sure it'll tell you right there on the front page or one click away. A lot of connections to there from Atlanta, Chicago, Charlotte. And it is about an hour and a half. It's 90 miles.
Okay, I can answer the other part.
Beautiful drive.
Allegiant flies there. American Airlines flies there. Delta flies there. JetBlue flies there. Sun Country Airlines flies there. United flies there. So that's good. You know, as always, you bring the joy. I mean, that's what makes the container. You know, you bring it, you share it with us. And as everybody that's on this call has been to a CCC before. So, you know, I never want to leave. I'll tell you, just seeing faces I haven't seen on these calls for so long brought me a lot of joy. So good to see.
There's Joy.
There's
There's Joy.
she's going to be there.
There's Joy. There's Joy. There's Joy. There's Joy.
We've had some great times. We've had some really great times. So
At the place that doesn't have any ice cream, we had to go get it ourselves.
well, they will have desserts. I'm not sure they're going to have desserts every day, but when we were there, they made a pizza with arugula, and it was like you walked in and about knocked us over. And the chef there, she's Filipino, and they just say she could take a jackfruit that's, you know, as big as a wheelbarrow and whittle that thing down and have the best vegan barbecue you could ever had, from what I've been told.
She has all her local suppliers plus the garden that's on campus. And the way the woman described it to us was, you don't see the institutional food truck pull up to this kitchen. Their cook there, their chief cook there knows her ways, and they're used to people having a wide variety of preferences and food diets situations. So that's not a challenge as it was for us last year a little bit. So
I think they ended up doing a really good job.
Did a wonderful job. Yep.
The other thing is that, okay, this will be October. October can be like 80 degrees, or October can be snowing. So, you know, it's a rain, you know, it's an old growth forest. There is a lot of rain there, but they don't have a season like in Costa Rica, you know, you have the rainy season, the dry season. So she said, you can have any kind of weather. So, you know, that's one thing, just don't bring shorts, and, you know, that just wouldn't work. I don't think. You might want to bring some shorts, but, you know, it's, I would bring a jacket or maybe some rain gear just in case. The towels and sheets and all that is supplied. But if you have special, you should bring your own toiletries. And like I said, the lodge itself has 12 rooms. If you want a single supplement, it's an extra, what did I tell you, Janet? I told you it was an extra $70 a night if you want a single.
I thought you said 75, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, something like that. So if you want,
Yeah, around there.
let me look at my note here. Nope, 70. It's extra
Okay.
$70 a night. Because it's, it's well built, you have electric outlets. Most of the people, I said to Janet, I think I know the sleeping habits of most of the people that come to CCC. So we have CPAP, there's everything to hook you up. I know who snores. And actually I asked that on the registration as well. And if there's a particular roommate that you want, you can indicate that. And, some people say, hey, put me close to a bathroom. That's not a problem because you've got your own bathroom. So is everything handicap accessible? Yes. So if we make some trips out into the town, I can't guarantee there, but the rooms with the lodges, everything is accessible because they deal with, they welcome everyone. Is there a peace pole? Yes, there's a peace pole, but it's kind of old. So we might want to freshen up and have another one. And Fumi says she's planning to come, but we'll see if we get her back from Japan. So those are some of the things off the top of my head I can think of. Anyone else questions? If not, we can kind of go to Ron is going to do some poetry. But anyway.
Thank you, Noelle. Everything looks so amazing as usual. Thank you both. Thank everyone. It's really, I'm moved already so much. So, and feel it. So thank you.
Love to have you with us, Sarah.
Thanks.
Be our joy to have you there. That works into if that's possible for you. Wonderful. Okay, well, I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to spotlight Ron. You have center stage, my friend.
Thank you. The place looks phenomenal. I can almost breathe in the air on top of the really incredible. So I think so much of my poetry is about joy. It's about gratitude. It's about the fact that these things that are so deep as soul's expression all seem to come together. When you look at something like wonder, what else is included? It's love, it's awe, it's everything. They all come together in a genuine, a deep experience. And so one way or another, that's what I write about. And I like to express it in a variety of ways. That seems to be my assignment from 15, 16 years ago when the poetry started. This is the way it came. So here's a poem very much connected to our theme called Laugh. Come, friends, and let's rescue a few laughs from this day. Surely, by now you know what that joyous sound really is. Why, it's the sound of angels' wings beating together, applauding. And whenever that happens, since angels are very much like fireflies, sparks of light are generated, which are then immediately reflected in our beautiful eyes. So, all things being considered, let's do this cosmic thing together and have a few good laughs today.
Love it.
Perfect. Our theme poem.
Give this guy a heart, you guys. Come on. You have another poem for us, Ron?
I do. I never, if you have a poet in audience, you're dead.
And on Tuesday of the Co-Creators Convergence, Ron will read poems
And whenever
all
Ron,
day.
if Ron gets it all moody, I tell him, Ron, I want to talk to the poet. Anything that happens,
Get rid
just
of
go,
the other guy.
Wait a minute, I don't want, can you bring him back?
Okay, I'm going to bring him back. Here we
All
go.
right, one last one called
Oh.
Laughing Together. There is sometimes a laughter heard, so true, so pure, so innocent, that it makes the stars shine brighter. The earth, for a moment, slow its dervish dance across the skies, and tired roots everywhere dig deeper. Like when late at night I play with my cat, and this joyous sound is heard, and I don't know whether the cat, I, or God is laughing.
I'm going to give that guy another heart. Thank you, Ron. Thank you.
Pleasure.
So he has his third book of poetry coming out.
That'd be a great and joyful evening one evening. Well, when it was rainy and cloudy and be in a rainforest outside, we'll start a fire in the fireplace and we'll all doodle while Ron reads.
And maybe even I read one or two and everybody gets a piece of paper and a pen and begins to write poetry. Because anyone who appreciates poetry couldn't do that unless the poetic response was already inside them. We are all poets. That's it. Simple.
Love it. Love it.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Hmm.
Well, I thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you, Victoria, Ron, all of you for showing up. I hope, it works out in your schedule, that you can join us. If you have any real issues or further questions, you all know how to reach us. No problem. And I'd love to see y'all. So
You
good
will
evening,
complete.
good night,
You
good
will complete.
morrow.
Thank you, Noel. Thank
You'll
you.
complete the circle.
Can't
Thank
wait.
you.
It's going to be joyous. Join
It
us.
would be joyous.
Be joyous.
Join us for joyous.
Join us.
Yes, Grace says
Be
thank
joyful.
you all.
Take care. Bye-bye.
May
Good night,
peace prevail
everybody.
on them.